This on an afternoon program as we chat to you about what's happening. Paul is in Staten Island, New York, and he'll get us going here on a busy show. Paul, good afternoon. How are you today, okay?
Mad Dog, how are you?
Fine, Paul. Good to have you aboard. What's up now?
I was looking for the Sterling call this morning on the local stations and even online. I don't know if he said the Yankees win at the end, so don't kill Eddie for that one.
Oh, really?
Wait, where they cut it right at the end after. So I don't know if it's available. If he said it, I would watch it on television and then didn't see it. But the first thing this morning, but didn't hear it anywhere. I heard the entire same call. So give Eddie a break. But,
maybe not Eddie's fault. And Sterling, I could see Sterling getting a little lost. And, you know, his birthday is July 4th. He's going to be 80 years old. I could see Sterling getting that screwed up and, you know, kind of forgetting. So that is not outlandish to say that. All right, what else you got? Go ahead.
Correct. And the one thing that no one said since last night, I even sent this out of the tweet this morning, is I think, I might be wrong, that was like the first game where all the big three, Judge, Stanton, and Sanchez, if they play the way they played last night, no one's going to beat this team with the way they are, the three big guys. They're getting so much support from the other guys. But they just look, they are... I
think you're right there. I think you're right. I think if those three do what they're supposed to do and hit, now they're all susceptible to striking out. You know, they are not going to, you know, give you that 2-out clutch at bat against, you know, Verlander in the 8th inning in a 1-1 game. You'll wonder if they can put the bat on the ball, you know, on the road with the roaring crowd. But I do agree, when they're all in sync, they are they're a time bomb. So there is some truth to that. I'm with you. Go ahead. Next. He's gone. But when they do click, away you go. I don't know if maybe John did forget to put the Yankee win in there. Maybe Steve has got it. We're fine. We'll talk to Steve a little later on today. Here's Evan in Buffalo, and he's with us here on Mad Dog Unleashed. Ev, good afternoon. How are you today? What's going on?
I'm good, Doc. How you doing today?
Fine, Evan. Thank you. Let me hear now. Fire away.
First one is in regards to my Yankees, and the second one.
All right, Evan's on a bad phone line. We have to go ahead, Evan. One last chance. Yankees, let me hear your take. Oh, he's dropped. All right, it's an Eddie Erickson special. Here's Jimmy in Dallas, the winner of the Shorehaven member guest for about the 9 millionth time. 2-day event. He played well, made a huge putt on the first playoff hole. And he says hello. Jim, good afternoon. How are you today?
How you doing, dog? Would you like me to break my win down for Huck in Missouri? We haven't done that.
I know. Did you? You had. I'll break it down for them. Jim and his partner Tom Hipwell. What flight was it? The second flight?
Third flight, dog.
Third flight. Had a huge lead going into Sunday, and a la Dustin Johnson, whether they had too much to drink the night before, huge lead going to Saturday, whether they had too much to drink the night before, I can't answer that. Had like a 6-point lead, and then on Saturday they played their first match. What'd you lose, your first 6 holes, something like that?
We got smoked. What was it, 6-3, 6.5, 2.5, something like that.
All right, you got beat badly, so they were right back in the pack. And then in your last match, you won by what?
I think we actually won by maybe 1 point.
So not a great Saturday, but they won their flight, and then they went to the first tee ball. They went to the first playoff hole on 10. The member hits first from the back of the bus, the black tees, which is a long par 4, sort of uphill, downhill. It's a tough hole, 4th handicap. They're getting a stroke, which is a joke that the third flight gets a stroke, just like the 8th and 9th flight does. That drives me crazy. But they get a stroke. Bad tee shot by Hipwell, but Jim hits a good second shot, hits the third shot, alternate shot, and then on the green, and then Jimmy knocks down. He studies the putt and walks around the green for 30 minutes when we're all sitting there waiting. But he knocks in about a 12-footer?
Something like that, downhill left to right.
That's a tricky green, and he knocks it in, and it's sudden death. So if nobody can touch it, but they got a 4 for a 3 because they got the stroke, which I can't stand. Nobody else, believe it or not, got 4 for 3s. Everybody got the 5 for the 4s or got a straightforward no shot. And so winners, Jim Welsh. That's the second time you've won it.
That is correct. But just to be clear, everybody popped on that hole.
Even the first flight got a stroke in that hole. They were a combined 5 handicap. Okay, so
that is correct.
But what Jim doesn't know is I have decided, and since I am in a decision making scenario right now at Shorehaven, I have decided that from now on all the member guests tournament, ladies and men, the guest does not get on the board. You know what happens, folks, is at country clubs is that the members and the guests, what they want is they want to put their name on the plaque. So in 100 years, the next Tiger Woods who strolls into Shorehaven goes back and peruses the history of it with who won what championship. And then he sees, boy, this Jim Welsh has been pretty good. He won all these member guests. But I have decided, and it's been adhered to, that from now on, and this is not going to be grandfathered in, all previous scenarios as well, there will not be any guest names on the boards at Shorehaven. So unfortunately, Tom Hipwell's name will be in there, but Jim Welsh, he could have played Hipwell with Dustin Johnson. Jim Welsh will be lost to the archives as far as the Shorehaven Golf Club is concerned. He will not be known by anybody because he's off the boards. Jim, how's that sound?
Okay, I will have to follow up on that. I'm not really sure I'm keen on that. So actually, Dog, I didn't call in to do the breakdown on the member guests for Huck. I have 2 quick things here.
Yes.
One, you've talked about the automatic ball strike thing that they're talking about for the major leagues. And I was thinking, how does that work for the top and the bottom of the strike zone? I get left to right. That's pretty easy. Do you know that it requires an operator to set the strike zone for each batter when they come to the plate?
Good question. You're right, because of the size of the hitter. I don't know. I don't know if they have the technology to work with that. That's an intelligent question. A person a lot smarter than me would have to answer it. But continue.
I went online, and so they have a history of batters, but there would be an operator who sets top and bottom because it's going to change. Some guys crouch when they get 2 strikes and whatnot. So you can't tell me that isn't going to be any better than having a live umpire behind the behind the plate.
Not terrible. Your second point. Go ahead.
Okay, second thing. So I've been thinking about baseball statistics, and I loathe them just as much as you do. The one that I hate is OPS. Combining 2 statistics to me makes no sense. So I was thinking about this Trout versus DiMaggio thing. So I kind of created a new stat, which is a little bit of a combination of on base and slugging, and just simply put, you take total plate appearances, not at bats, and you look at every base the player gets. So you get your total bases from hits, singles, doubles, triples, etc., base on balls, stolen bases, and hit by pitch. And I looked at the age 25 seasons for Trout and DiMaggio. So last year that was for Trout, 1940 was for DiMaggio. So actually, Trout is more productive than Joe DiMaggio, because I'm with you that DiMaggio is a better player, but when you add everything up, all the bases they generate when they're at the plate or if they steal a base, Trout is a better player than Joe DiMaggio.
Well, do you have a ballpark deal in that?
I do not understand the bandbox thing, but I'm just kind of looking at this a little bit differently.
Well, that's a good stat, and that's a good call, Jim. And you're a good mathematician, so I was not aware of that. You take the errors out, you do it from that standpoint, make it you can come up with a sort of a runs produced category. It's fair. But he's not DiMaggio. Okay, what he says. He's not DiMaggio. Zig is in the house. How about Barry Trotz? He didn't think he had a bird in hand? My goodness. 5-year deal. He's not getting paid like Babcock or Joel Quinlan, but whatever his name. Quinville, thank you. But he's getting paid a ton of money. Zig, you hear him in the background. God forbid I got a hockey thing wrong. And Trotz gets paid 5 years. How much is he going to get? About $20 million?
That's what Sportsnet's reporting, so usually they're on top of it. Yep.
What's your take on that? Do you think that's a terrible job by the Capitals allowing him to leave over money?
It might be, because I know that there was supposedly a provision in his contract there that if he won the Stanley Cup, he could get a $300,000 raise, which, again, doesn't sound like a whole lot. And I think he was paid under $2 million there, Chris. So now he's getting a 5-year bump, $4 million per season. He's going into a situation there where it seems a bit tenuous at this point because obviously we don't know where John Tavares' mind is right now via free agency.
Yeah, well, you would think this would help. This would keep Tavares.
Keep him there, right?
You would think so. I mean, why wouldn't you want to play with the guy who won a Stanley Cup? So, you think a lot of this contract has to do with the fact they have Tavares in the back of their minds, correct?
You would think so, although there is some talent there. Obviously, the kid won the Calder trophy for the Rookie of the Year last night. Barzal is a real nice young player. The kid from Notre Dame, Anders Lee, is a young talent. There's pieces there, Chris. Now they just got to get it a little more seasoned, assembled. They need to upgrade in the goal. They need to upgrade on defense, and obviously keep 91 around, which is Johnny Tavares.
And it'll be interesting now. Maybe they can get that capital backup goalie. I mean, Trotz likes him. Is that possible?
Oh, Grubauer, absolutely. I'm sure anything's in play right now. I know the Caps got a couple of good young prospects they like in Hershey, and of course Holtby's coming off the Stanley Cup.
Good job with Mr. Verkozy, or Verkazi, as Zig's got a sports